Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hello and welcome to March, Rangers of the Dork Forest. My name is Jackie Cation and you're listening to the Dork Forest. JackieCation.com, DorkForest.com, TheDorkForest.com. These are the websites. We don't have a sponsor yet this month, but you can always donate. Don't forget that you could give me $100 a year for listening to this content for free on the iTunes, and you could review. If you don't have $100 a year, you could just and you could buy merch at JackieCation.com. Here's the good news: there is a new comedy special, my new hour-long comedy special, stand-up comedy special video on allthingscomedy.com/records. $5 download. Out March 4th. There's a limited edition t-shirt available, a Horcrux Tour t-shirt, available till March 14th. And I need a pre-order of 100 to print them, because they are 8-color fancy pants, and they're going to be on union-made American black t-shirts, much like the Ranger t-shirts, the same style, Bayside. But they're expensive to make, and I'm only going to do 100 of them or 200 of them, however many. I'm not going to do more than 200 of them because I'm tired. But they're a great t-shirt of Jenny Fine's design of the cover of the CD and the DVD. And order them. Order them at JackieCation.com/Horcrux and get the special at allthingscomedy.com/records. Right now, let's get into the show, because it's March. Hey, it's Jackie Cation. I'm in my living room, in Van Nuys Boulevard. In Van Nuys Boulevard? Whatever. That's a movie from 1978 with, Annabelle Gurwitch.
I saw American Hustle. Van Nuys Boulevard was not in American Hustle, because that was like 1978.
Right, and yet it was huge. There's a movie called Van Nuys Boulevard from 1978.
Wow.
And it is, I own it. I bought it with 50 other pulp movies from the 70s for $4.99.
I love pulp movies. The 70s were the best movies. I have to finish signing that in a minute, but the 70s were the sweet spot for movies in American film, in my opinion. I mean, you've got these movies.
It was in between two different genres, I'm told.
I mean, you think about things like The Parallax View, Manchurian Candidate, Deer Hunter, there was a Silent Running. Okay, Logan's Run. Okay, these movies were just so amazing and great, and you'll never see that kind of thing again.
It's being done on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is this is a really great time for movies now. This year, movies were so amazing. They did remind me sort of that, because I mean, to me, the 70s movies were like these big movies, but they look like little movies. Anyway. Yeah.
They're, but that's great, because we could talk about those 70s movies. Annabelle Gurwitch.
I grew up in the 70s.
People might remember me, as also did I. But let's tell people, they know who you are. They know who you are from NPR. They know who you are from Dinner and a Movie.
Some of them,
They know, from the book Fired, and the series kind of Fired. It was a theater series, right?
I just ran that thing into the ground.
It was so fun.
It was really fun.
There's nothing better than an awesome.
The stories about being fired. I mean,
they're life affirming. Is what Bamford just said to me. She said, it was such a relief to hear about other people getting fired.
Yeah.
And it really is. It kind of frees us all up.
One of my favorites was Dana Gould being fired from the Dana Gould show, like 3 times. There were 3 different Dana Gould shows. They're like, we don't want you.
Right. You're too Dana Gould. It's a lot. That is so awesome.
And then I have this book, you say tomato, I say shut up.
Right.
That was the last book.
Book. And now new book coming out March 6th.
It's a new book.
Available for pre-order on the Amazon. Feel free to use the Amazon banner on JackieCation.com. To order it. Yeah, I get a tiny kickback. I get like 4%.
You do?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nice.
This new book, you want to say the title?
Yeah, you could say it if you want. It's
I See You Made an Effort. Compliments, indignities, and survival stories from the edge of 50.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
See, this just shows what age-ish, I don't want to say your age, but what age-ish you are, because you said the Amazon. When you say the Amazon, the Twitter, the Facebook, you are over 40.
Right. But the Amazon banner was the whole sentence.
Oh, so I'm just
there was a note.
Oh, so there was I'm just completely off.
I will say the Twitter. I'll say the 405 more often. But I will say, I'll do it. I'm 48. What are you going to do?
Not, you know what?
There's absolutely nothing I can do about it.
No,
what do you think? What do you think about this new theory of mine, which is that when you're in your 40s, you don't want to kill yourself anymore. Mm-hmm. You're just willing to die. Because it's exhausting.
I thought you were going to say, but you would kill others. See, that's the thing I think about now. Like,
do you think? Oh, more murder.
More murder. See, murder doesn't sound so...
It went from suicide to murder?
To murder. You know, I'm not so suicidal anymore. I'm more homicidal.
Interesting. I'm not suicidal. I'm just tired.
I'm tired all the time. I'm so tired that I'm drinking a Diet Coke now because I'm going to have my afternoon double latte soon because I've actually replaced my entire bloodstream with caffeine and estrogen hormone replacement gel.
Are you doing it? Are you doing a hormone? Are you doing an estrogen thing?
I'm doing the whole thing. And it's
You're like,
it's really confusing.
Yeah.
You know, because the question is like quality or quantity in terms of lifespan.
Of life.
I'm saying this meanwhile, you know, it's like, no.
Right. What are you looking for?
Die.
Are you looking for quantity at this point?
You know,
because my dad did say that he said, yeah, your 20s and 30s, you want to kill yourself. Your 40s and 50s, you're willing to die if somebody else does it. And your 60s and 70s, you hold on to every minute. Because he's in his 70s. He's like, because you don't know what's next.
All of that just makes me want to like drive off a cliff like lemmings. When you hear that, I just feel like, you know, just like, let's all just go.
Because it's too sweeping or?
It's just too sweeping. It is it is really crazy. But you know that actually I heard this really interesting scientist on the radio. I'm a science fanatic.
Right.
Let me just say, I was a C- science student my entire time
was Einstein.
growing up. Not only I was, you know what, that's a lie. I was a D science student. What happened was in high school, I had to beg my chemistry teacher to pass me because I was getting a D and I'd already been accepted at NYU. And I said, please, if I get this D, they're going to rescind my invitation to attend. And he said, I'll give you the C- if you promise me you will never go into a field that requires scientific knowledge. I said, no problem, because I had this like narcoleptic effect on me. But I am obsessed with science. Like I buy all these books, like it'll be like the book, like decoding the DNA, uncoding the whatever.
Are you reading that right now? Are you reading a sciencey book now?
I am still reading the same book I bought a couple years ago.
Sure.
Which is a book about the hand and how we learn through the hand.
What?
Actually.
Talk to the hand?
Yeah, the brain.
Are
and
people
the hand
actually talking to the hand?
Talk to the hand is actually the true thing. No, the thing is that, and this is what's really interesting, is that there's a lot that is lost when we have everything being flat, you know, the flat on the screen, right?
Okay.
And it's not just this phenomena they call, when people are reading, it's called scanning now. They're not actually reading. And I do this myself. Like if I buy the newspaper, I will read the newspaper. But if I look at it online, I sort of scan it.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't go in as deeply. And this creates a shallow, you know, memory in your brain is grooves. It's like actually
like an album?
Like
an old-timey album?
Like an LP, exactly.
Okay.
But when you scan or skim, as opposed to, am I making you cry, Jackie?
No. For some reason, I did have to squeeze my eyeballs shut, but I don't know why.
I think I'm upsetting
you. My headphones might be too tight.
And now it's making your eyeballs. Okay, so here's how it goes. So when you're
I'm going to believe in the sound system.
All right. When you're reading and it's a flat surface, it doesn't penetrate as deeply. The memory, the groove doesn't get as deeply in your brain. The memory creates. So, and not only that, so that's one loss of having everything be digital. The second thing is when you're typing on a keyboard and you don't actually touch things with your hand in the same way the textile of paper, pencil,
and pen and pencil,
or actually
kind of thing,
or drawing, like kids drawing. The hand, the information, it's like a tactile thing that needs to be activated for
is there some sort of
human development
disconnectory?
Yes, it's like a sensory part of development that
just having the mouse and the
No. By the computer doesn't give you that, and the flat screen doesn't give you that, and so there's
What about an iPad? You're totally tapping on that bad boy.
But you're not tapping on anything but this one surface. It doesn't. It doesn't.
Oh, there's no texture and there's no
texture.
variety.
And there's no variety.
Okay.
Right. And so
that will make us dead inside.
That is one of those sort of things that might be the harbinger of our doom. Not that we don't have war. There's so many. You know what I love about, my other thing I'm fascinated with is science fiction.
Right. And the dystopian future. Right. And allow me to quote Elliot Cation one more time to say, you love those shows with that dystopian future. You look around, we live in a dystopian present.
I know, but
it's not going to be any different.
Future.
Your car's
like
still
going to.
Is it a vacation?
The dystopian present.
Oh, I like it.
It's just like, it's sort of like.
At least it isn't that bad kind of situation.
Oh, no, it's worse in the
like
dystopian
District 9?
futures.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. District 9 is like the greatest movie.
It was a great movie.
Oh my God, it's an amazing movie.
But it's the Schindler's List of, I won't be, I won't be
Schindler's List of aliens. It's sort of like E.T. and Schindler's List got together, had a baby, and it was District 9.
Yeah.
But what I loved about it was it just had this ring of truth that if these, if they were stranded, aliens really came,
and they didn't have the powers,
and they didn't have their powers, and they didn't look like what we like them to look like, we would, corral them and turn them into a second-class citizen group. And I thought that was just an amazing film. It was so visually exciting. And
right.
I also like this idea that, I really hate those movies where it's like always these evil aliens trying to kill us. This was such a much more provocative thing.
It was genuinely, it was an entirely different angle.
But this all comes back to what we were talking about in the very beginning, which is growing up as a child in the 70s, there were these amazing movies like Soylent Green, right? Soylent Green is people, right?
Spoiler alert from 40 years ago. So sad, too bad.
I'm so sorry.
Rosebud also, it's the sled.
Right. But I want to talk about Soylent Green for a minute because there's actually been someone, it was just announced in the news, who's advocating for this, that we should be
taking bodies and...
Yes. And now there have been, a number.
Was it Rush Limbaugh? Who was it?
No. If we could only eat them, that might not be so bad. But you really have to think about, I feel like it's sort of a crime when you bury people and they take up that space and they.
Well, when you embalm them and you do, Brett Chambers, who created the Dork Forest logo ones, he is now, not a coroner. What an undertaker.
An undertaker.
He's
really?
He went from doing
a mortuary. Yeah.
He works at a mortuary. He went from doing stand-up comedy to wanting to be an undertaker.
Oh, that's just that old.
The old comedy.
And now I embalm and I.
And where do you think Brett Chambers might live? Where does that journey happen?
Where?
Portland, Oregon. Where else would that happen?
Oh my God, that's so funny. I always think of like Portland as a place I'm going to end up, where I'm going to open an Etsy store where I make sculptures out of my chewing gum.
Could happen. They're very supportive.
I'm going to be knitting leggings for cats up in Portland.
FamilyPetAncestry.com, my friends. But here's the thing, I do think...
And wearing khaki. They wear a lot of khaki there. But I love people who live in Portland. It's just their khaki that I'm frightened of.
Oh, does the khaki kind of throw you off a little bit?
The khaki is just, it's something that's like an army of khaki people.
What do you want? Do you want a jean?
Khaki.
Do you want a linen?
I would prefer, you know what? This is the thing about getting older. Okay, this new book I read about getting older. And I actually think if I know one thing it's true, is that as you get older, you have to dress better. Not when you're sitting in your living room on a podcast, because right now I'm not wearing anything that I really want to talk about. There's no dress code here. But when you go out in public, you got to bring it up a notch. You got to make an effort. Hence, I see you made an effort. You have to make an effort, more of an effort, because this is what keeps you. This is how you keep your dignity.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay. That resonates in a way that I'm not psyched that it resonates with.
Well, let's face it. There's a lot of things that just don't work the same way anymore.
Sure.
Like eating. There's like not a lot of things you're supposed to eat as you get older. It's more limited. It means that you have
I just had a Dove dark chocolate, and inside every Dove dark chocolate is a dark promise. Allow me to read mine.
Oh, you're kidding. You're not kidding me. There's a dark promise.
Indulge your every whim.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what it says. Indulge your every whim. And you got to say it with a dark voice.
I don't have my reading glasses on. It really says that?
Yep, because it's a dark dove, promise
God,
right
this
there.
is okay. You know what? This is so embarrassing. I actually don't have my reading glasses on, which has
I think
caused
these are progressive.
Thank you. It has caused me a couple of.
But I'm
huge
super
problems.
blind.
And
Why?
let me tell you what. Like right now, and I'm wearing it just to remind myself of how the line can be crossed so quickly. So let me just say this. All right. I bought the necklace. You can't see this if you're listening to this podcast, but the necklace that I'm wearing, I bought the other day. I thought it was kind of cute, and I was, doing a little bit of shopping there. I thought it was a leaf, but no. Do you know what it is?
What
Put
is
your
it?
glasses on. Look at closer.
What the hell is it?
It's an angel's wing. I am just so
I'm exhausted already. I'm just exhausted.
Awful. It's so awful. I'm wearing an angel's wing. It probably is like it's with a cult of people who are like, oh look, it's half a wing too. It must be like, oh,
half a key.
I'm separated from God by this. It's so awful.
Where did you get it?
I got it at just some little store in the valley.
Right, where we are.
Obviously, it's owned by super religious people, and I didn't know it, and they suckered me, and I thought it was a leaf.
It looks like a leaf.
Why
can't it be a leaf?
No, look closer, because now I'm like a God person here. It's very upsetting. And let me just say, God people, it's okay. You can be that. I'm just not that.
You
So
are not a God person,
I am
so
not a
you
God
feel bad
person.
that you got into the God thing.
I do.
Did you feel like you got tricked?
I got tricked.
You got tricked into getting a God
thing. It was a
thing.
leaf. But
oh yeah,
no,
this
it's
is
an angel wing. Right?
That's such an angel wing. It's weird to me that you didn't hold it in your hand and go, "Oh, that's not a leaf."
It was an impulse buy.
You know what? Maybe it's not an angel wing. Maybe it's just a bird wing, and you're secretly a birder.
Oh, that's worse. Oh my
Would you
God.
wanna
You
be
know
a
why?
birder?
No, because birders are always in khaki. If you want to talk about khaki wearers, that's okay. Wait, I have to go back to Soylent Green for a minute because
we can go back to Soylent Green.
No, this is
Before
amazing
we forget?
thing.
Okay.
You won't believe this. So there's this new technology. This is sort of sciencey and sort of just creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And actually it's sort of science where science meets jewelry. Okay. Science and jewelry coming together at last. Okay. There's a company in Switzerland.
Right. And it is called.
Okay. It's called
Switzerland Science Jewelry Company.
Something with diamonds. Okay. What they'll do is if your loved one is cremated,
Right.
they will turn them into a diamond.
Right.
And I was thinking, my mother, she's had, some depression in her life. I thought she might want to be a diamond one day.
My father-in-law, we have shotgun shells with his ashes in them. He was,
Really?
he trained bird dogs for field trials. So we have his ashes that are in shotgun shells.
Wow.
We shot a bunch off into the sky.
Oh my God.
And then we kept, he died about a year and a half ago. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's creative
He thought it was funny.
and funny.
He thought it was funny and it made sense because he was a shotgun guy.
Right. Well, that's the
would
thing
teach
is like that.
birders.
You've like Soylent Green, you've repurposed your father
Right.
into bullets. It's a little creepy, but so I was thinking, okay, so I get my mother as a diamond, and I actually went to the site and priced them out. I was thinking,
She's still with us, right? Your mother?
She is, but this
Can
diamond
you borrow like a
looked
hand
really
or something?
good.
Can I just get it just to part of you?
No,
Her hair?
and my son, I told my son about this. I said, honey, would you want one day? I wouldn't be unhappy if I was like diamond stud earrings because he's a boy, And he said, but Mom, you weigh too much. What are they going to do with the rest of you?
Wow. Are you raising a dick or is he just being hilarious?
Okay, so let me just say this. My son this year.
How old is he?
He's 15.
Oh, the hilarity of 15.
It's so awful. And so at Rosh Hashanah, we were sort of making New Year's resolutions. That's the Jewish New Year for anybody
else. Look at this point.
So my 15-year-old, he said, my resolution is this year, I know I've really been kind of an asshole and I think I'm going to try to just be a dick.
Oh, he's bringing it down a notch.
So he's bringing it down a notch. But you know what? That hasn't worked. Like every resolution has worked. So I priced out this diamond though about my mother. It's a
for your
blue
mom.
blue diamond.
Oh, they can make them blue.
So good. So I've been calling my mom. How are you feeling? How are you feeling, Mom? It was like $4,500, which is actually really cheap for it was kind of a big, beautiful,
several carat kind of diamond.
Cut. I mean, I really looked into this.
Yeah,
so it's like an emerald cut, and it was like beautiful, like baby
Have you
blue.
mentioned this to her?
I have not mentioned this to her.
Why she's asking?
No, how you doing, Mom? How you feeling? But then I was thinking, this is so terrible though. What happens if you get mugged and you're like, no, that's my mother?
That's it. That's the huge. That'd be the worst.
Does that stop someone in their tracks, or they just? I don't know.
I always think I haven't been mugged in years.
What's the resale value of a person diamond?
Of a
People
person
diamond.
diamond.
People
and a people
diamonds.
diamond. All right.
Oh wait,
Maybe it's called People Diamond.
It's not, but that's a good.
I want it to be called People Diamond.
Let's go into business with your friend at the mortuary. People don't even have to know it, right? If it's a closed casket, nobody will know.
Just take a bucket of ashes.
Right. Let's. This is a new business for us.
Excellent. We'll move to. We're already in Portland. If we're there with him, it'll be perfect. Here's the thing. What do you think of Eileen Fisher?
Okay, Eileen Fisher. We're talking about this because of this book about turning 50, right? This is
and
the
you
thing.
say you got to bring it up.
I just want to say this. Okay, see the Eileen Fisher clothing. Now, if you're a certain age and you're listening to this, you'll go like, who are they talking about? Some like woman who's like some Jewish lady who's someone's mother, Eileen Fisher? You don't know who that is. But if you're a certain age and you're a woman, you have noticed this. So what happened was, 10 years ago, I used to look at those Eileen Fisher ads in the New York Times Magazine, and I would just like page buy them in the way that you page buy vacation spots you can never afford to go to in the New York Times. Oh, the travel section. Like, oh my God. Yes, every year it's like the best vacation spots you can never afford. So Eileen Fisher clothing. Oh, it's like, we know what that is. That's clothing for middle-aged women, right? Now I actually stop and go like, those hospital gown togas look kind of good. They're these drapey clothing.
There's a lot of drapey.
Which actually turns
If you're Diane
Keaton. Diane Keaton,
helps.
she's more the...
No, it's linen. It's Eileen Fisher.
It is linen, and it travels well because it's supposed to be wrinkly, so no one can tell. Oh, is it wrinkly because you're traveling or because it's wrinkly?
It's linen.
But here's the thing about Eileen Fisher clothing, right? So there's two things. One thing is it turns you into an elder counsel from a dystopian... futuristic movie.
Sure.
The Matrix. Star Trek.
You are the matriarch.
Yes. There are always these elder people in drapey. But they're in drapey clothing. And that's what Eileen Fisher does. She like turns you into drapes because what it's supposed to be is like, don't look here where the waist was. Don't look here where the hips were. Don't look here. The ass has expanded. It's all drapery.
There's a lot of draping. But I remember I was turned on to Eileen Fisher by wasps from New York when I was in my early 20s.
Really?
Yes,
really?
I was told. Well, because I've always dressed
you
like
are
somebody's.
Not allowed to wear Eileen Fisher if you're under 40. You can't. They don't even let you in the store.
I was told that it was. I was told that it was a way to build a wardrobe that was timeless. And I was told
so waspy.
And I was, except for that, the wasp that I was talking to was actually Jews. But I didn't know any better because from Wisconsin, you don't know what a wasp is and you don't know what a Jew is.
No, they told you.
So you put those two things together and you're like, it's classy people. It's people who know what they're talking about.
Yeah, but that's kind of weird. So in your 20s, why are you worried about building a wardrobe that's timeless?
Because I had been told I was supposed to building a wardrobe that was timeless. Because I've always dressed in my brother's hand-me-down clothes.
Okay, first of all, in their 20s, who thinks that far ahead? Timeless, all you can do is think about, like, the next day. And
I think that they had mothers that were telling them to have timeless wardrobes.
Oh, I did not.
I didn't, but yeah.
And did you actually buy them?
Oh, yeah. But I only owned I would own one outfit. I was like a ghetto child with one decent, cool outfit. But it's now, cause a lot of people give a lot of shit to women who were sexy, like super sexy 20s, right?
Right.
Who now dress super sexy in their 50s.
Okay, this is what you have to be careful that doesn't happen to you. Now, I'm just going to say this, and this might not sound kind, and I don't mean it in an unkind way, but the whole thing, like this new book, it sort of took hold. I started to think about this, when I ran into Carol Burnett in an elevator not that long ago, and she was wearing a baby doll dress. Oh. And I just thought, would someone stop me? Too late.
Too late. Here's the thing,
but
what do you think of this, though?
I mean, because the thing about, like, oh my God, whatever happened to Baby Jane, or like you're just.
But I think you just dress like you always dress. Like I will always dress like this. But no one will give me any shit for it because this has never been sexy.
That's the way to fool them. Actually, the funny thing is about like living in Los Angeles, of course, where everything is skewed, which brings me back to one of my favorite dystopian futuristic movies of the 70s, right? Logan's Run, which was shot in Century City. I believe that's true. It might not be true. I might have just made that up, but I think it looks.
I always think Planet of the Apes were the future of the Planet of the Apes was shot there.
And Logan's Run might not have been, but it could have been.
Could have been. Yeah.
But that's that whole thing. I mean, think about what that movie was. was. It really portends what the future, which is now, is, which is a society where nobody wanted to get old. I mean, they
turned 30 and that was, you were done.
Right. You were reclaimed, or I forget the light
killed.
went off in your, well, there was like a name for it, right?
Right. Yeah. I haven't seen it in ages. Have you seen it?
The light goes off in your hand. Yes, I have seen it recently because I love these. I try to show them to my kid. You know, this is like one of those things. They're like, you must see this movie.
Soylent Green. I had been told that it was scary, and then I saw it, and it was just a cop movie. It was an awesome cop movie.
It's not really a. Well, it is
scary.
It's like an investigation. They're trying to figure out where everybody is going.
Yeah, it's sort of like. Not Serpico, because that's late 70s, and Soylent Green is early 70s.
Here's a Serpico thing that is really weird. Okay, so when I lived in New York, at one point, this was in the mid 80s, when for a minute I thought I might have enough money to buy a place, which I didn't. This is the kind of thing. This is one of those age-related things. When I lie awake at night, one of the biggest things I think about is real estate. Things I didn't buy in the 80s. Not that I had any money to buy it,
right.
But there were like these apartments in New York for $70,000.
You're like, I could have
had that apartment. Yeah. And every time I went to look at an apartment in the West Village, which is where I was living, they would always say, "Oh, Serpico lived here." Like, why would that be a good thing? Weren't people still looking for Serpico?
You don't want anyone looking for Serpico.
I want to live in the apartment that drug dealers were staking at. No, but it was like somehow it was kind of like, Serpico lived here. And apparently he lived everywhere in the West Village.
Clearly he was constantly moving.
I think about these places. Now, back to Soylent Green for 1 second, though,
right?
Because this is the future now. I really consider, this whole kale thing. Let me just say, I feel like
I have kale growing out in the backyard.
Really? Are you serious?
Yeah, we got a nice garden, but we also have an iguana.
I feel like kale is a punishment. I'm sorry. I feel like kale is
maybe
the Soylent Green of our generation.
Has it not been prepared correctly?
Maybe
not.
What
about seaweed?
Well, I like seaweed? I like the
seaweed salad, or do you like the nori?
I like it crunchy, like when it's like
a sheet and it's crunchy. That's nori,
crunchy and salty. Who doesn't like crunchy and salty?
Right, kombu, you gotta soak it and then you make it in a.
I don't even know what that is. Are you super healthy?
In the 90s, I hung out with hippies, and so I was gluten free for a year, and I was macrobiotic for 2 years, except for booze. I was macrobiotic and gluten-free except for beer and
I was
Rumple Mints.
Macrobiotic for a little while, but that when I was single, and it was really hard to get laid because I couldn't find enough macrobiotic. There were like 3 guys I could date. This was in the early 80s in New York.
Oh, there you go.
And there were like 3 restaurants you could go to and 3 guys you could date, and everybody, it was like, and everyone had like a slightly greenish yellow
And how
undertone.
can you not know what kombu is because it's that seaweed that you use to make the soups?
I didn't cook. I had to keep going to the dojo.
That's right. You had to keep going to
3 restaurants to get the same fucking terrible food.
You're not making the rice in the right thing. You've added sugar. I can't have it. You're right. It's a terrible idea.
Some kind of like a small-minded person that I'm saying I'm really tired of kale. I'm tired.
But you're tired of kale. Yeah.
Enough of the kale, people.
What do you like to eat?
What do I like to eat?
Do you like a salad at all?
Do you know what? Okay, this is the thing. So I was diagnosed as being pre-diabetic, which is just a horrible conspiracy because look at me.
The hell is that? What does that mean?
It means dangerously close to being diabetic, right? Too high sugar levels because I love fruit.
Okay.
I thought I was doing the right thing. Fruit, people.
Fruit.
You're supposed to be eating
You get to eat fruit?
Well, no, apparently. You can eat too much fruit.
There's too much fruit eating.
I know that. So now I'm supposed to just be eating a lot of vegetables and just change the whole diet thing. So,
carrots are really sweet.
I'm just so bored. You know what I snacked on really late at night the other night? Celery. And I just wanted to kill myself.
That is my stepmother from 1979. Okay, I have to say this. I saw Morgan Fairchild one time, and when she walked by me at a Roma coffee shop, I said to myself, did someone have plastic surgery to look like Morgan Fairchild?
I know.
And then it was Morgan Fairchild.
I know. I have this idea that, what will happen when eventually, and probably next week or in 15 minutes from now, when we have the big earthquake in Los Angeles.
Oh, it could happen at any time.
We will see there will be bands of women in Beverly Hills roaming the streets, unrecognizable to even their own assistants, because they won't have their Botox and their black. They won't. And now
it's like that first Batman movie.
If we really were smart, Jackie, what we'd be doing is we'd be stockpiling vials of Botox and injectables in our car trunks, selling them out of our trunk for inflated prices to all these women after the earthquake. What do you think? New business?
No, another new business. Welcome to the Dork Forest, where Annabelle Gurwitch and myself create businesses out of whole cloth.
Right.
Well played.
There's People Diamonds.
There's People Diamonds, and there's
our black market injectables.
Black market injectables.
Apocalyptic Beverly Hills plastic surgery set.
What we do is maybe we get bees, and we just get them to sting your forehead, because that's what. Oh,
I like that. But how do you get them to sting in the right place?
Oh, you got to hold them. You got to have a bee handler.
Are bees smart?
I don't know.
I don't really. I mean, it seems like they're not. They're
disappearing. Remember the disappearing bee?
They are just beginning the hive mind. So it is kind of interesting. Actually, I share an office. This is another science thing. Okay, so I share an office with a scientist. She makes science films. I don't even know what she's talking about half the time, which is very interesting. And so she talks about her whole focus is ants, and how ants also work like bees. Ants have this shared knowledge. So, not any single one is very smart, but together they like bees, they work together to accomplish goals. And there's a scientist whose new theory is that we are becoming, the population of Earth is becoming like more and more like ants as we outsource our knowledge to the internet. And we accomplish things without much actual knowledge anymore, because the pathways, in the same way that ants follow pathways to accomplish goals, we are just doing that. So
there are 7 billion of us.
Yes,
that's a lot of one species on a planet.
Let me just add this theory. Okay, is it really better or worse that you can Google? Oh, this sounds like an old fogey now, right? but like, wasn't there something great about like you're on a date?
And not
you're trying to figure out what the name of that song or that movie was, right? Now, no, you just Google it, which was funny because you never hear say, you just Bing it.
Nobody says you just Bing it.
No one is saying that.
Nobody is saying that.
And on the planet right now, I don't think anyone's even saying the word Bing. If they are, they're saying what? What does that mean?
It's a reference to Chandler. Chandler Bing.
Isn't that kind of sad? Isn't that sad that's so information's so available? I was trying to convince my 15-year-old son that the other day. He's like, no, Mom, it's better just to know things. I'm like, no, it's kind of fun
the mystery.
And exciting, the mystery. Here's another thing. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
Is it more exciting? Let's say that you are a single person.
Right.
And, you have a crush on someone.
Sure.
The days when you couldn't reach them by their cell phone or by email, by texting, and you have to wonder, are they trying to reach me? Should I rush home? Could it be possible that they want to rip my clothes off as much as I want to rip their clothes off? And then, of course, very quickly, our interest in each other will fade because it's more interesting when it's in your head than when you're actually doing it. But it's the wondering about it, right? We have taken the mystery out of love and sex because people are just doing it online anyway.
There's no mystery. I don't think any of my nieces and nephews have any mystery about sex.
No, it's all
I think that there is an opportunity to see all the kinds of sex that they might have ever even thought about ever seeing. And the texting, what I do is I have a friend who, I'm in this like mentoring thing, and this woman.
You returned to a mentoring thing. Like what kind of mentoring? Oh, this sounds dangerous.
It is.
Are you being brainwashed?
I'm a helper. I'm scared. So don't be. She's a comic. She's a nice lady, but she likes to text me.
What is she mentoring you for?
No.
Can I ask you?
No, I'm mentoring her.
Oh, you're mentoring her?
Yes.
For comedy.
Yeah.
By texting.
She texts me all the time, and I had to say, stop texting me. I have a 900-year-old phone. I have a $21 Go phone from AT&T.
Really?
Yeah, just because I have an iPad.
Smithsonian is calling, Jackie.
It looks like a little Nokia. See it? It's in between all those rocks over there. See, I got some rocks over there.
I have a BlackBerry. One day I'm going to turn my BlackBerry on and it's going to sigh. It's just going to go like,
I'm surprised it hasn't recently. Andrew Solomson told me he just had to get rid of his BlackBerry.
Last night it did. It just died. It just like kind of said like, I need to sit down. I need to sit.
I'm getting tired.
It just would not turn on.
Yeah. I think Andy has a Palm Trio or a Palm.
Oh my God.
Does he have something else
too?
He does not.
Actually, I feel like that'd be kind of sexy.
He's
like to see
he's got a Palm, and he also has,
but
but we both have iPads, so there's no need for anything but the internet because we have the internet on the book.
We have the internet.
The internet? I did say the internet.
Like the Twitter or the Facebook.
We have the internet on our. Would I have the internet as a I call it my toddler bag of toys. Is that an old lady thing to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Particularly if you have it like stuffed in your bra.
I like to keep, it's an iPad mini. It could fit in my bra. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here all week.
That is just so
Please
sad.
try.
Okay, wait. You were back to saying about you're mentoring someone that you're texting?
No, and I just, when she wants to communicate instead of texting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's a lot younger than I am, and that's fine. I mean, I talk to, the best thing that happens, one of the greatest things that happens to me on a regular basis is there's a lot of 24 to 26-year-old men who come up to me and say, I saw your half-hour special 1 million years ago when I was 7 or 12, and you talked about video games, and you made it okay, man. And it just really resonated.
That is a weird thing when you become that person.
Yeah.
Actually, with like dinner and
I think
movie,
it's kind of cool.
People will say to me things like, the thing that I never... you don't think about like when you're younger, like, when I was growing up, my mom and I used to watch it. I was in diapers and it's like, what?
I thought you were married to that guy. You weren't married to that guy?
I was not married to Paul Gilmartin. I love Paul Gilmartin, but we worked together like so, when you're spending the kind of hours we spent together, like there was like the year we gave up deodorant together. I mean, there was a year.
Paul Gilmartin, I keep wanting to have him on the
diet. Show. There was I used to like pluck his ear hairs out. I mean, like you get very.
That is close.
It's not right. You get.
It's a lot.
It's not. And
for a guy that isn't your husband.
I know. And we used to fight on camera and off camera. We had a
but felt real.
Yes. Oh yeah, it did feel real because also you spend
that's why
enough
everyone
time
thought.
with someone. That's why everyone thought we were married because we actually fought with each other.
Right.
We didn't
because you were slightly pissy with each other on occasion.
I mean, of agreeing. Yeah, it was like, it was just one of those things. And I think the thing was really is that Paul is a very Midwestern guy. And I'm
a Chicago guy,
I'm just
right?
not Midwestern.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you grow up in New York?
Well, no, I'm an adopted New Yorker or adapted New, I don't know what you're going to say. I'm from Alabama originally and we lived a lot of different places. I grew up in Miami. Mostly in Miami, but my family is Southern, and so yeah, it's just like a hybrid of things. But when I moved to New York, I was like, I have found my people.
Right.
In fact, when I moved to New York, I was so naive though. My entire goal in life was to be listed in the New York phone book. I thought you had to do something to get the New York phone book. I want to be in that.
Hetty Youngman, and Malcolm
X. I was really naive. I mean, when I moved to New York, to study avant-garde theater, which is basically I was studying pot smoking and massage.
Right.
It was like really ridiculous.
I've moved to avant-garde theater,
and I got my
no offense.
This crazy thing was, thank you. I was going to NYU, and I actually got this part in a play that it was the New York Shakespeare Festival. It was like this really cool thing.
Yeah.
But I had no idea like how the world worked. So I was like, okay, I got this play. Now I will be starring.
I will go
movies.
forth.
They will give me an apartment and a good-looking guy. And I thought like it all like came like with the, and I learned pretty quickly that wasn't true. First of all, the salary off Broadway was $171.29 a week. And I quickly learned.
How did you manage not just really going crazy on that?
Don't spend it all in one place.
Was it 1985 or 18?
No, it was 1981.
81. Okay.
Things were cheaper, but I also had no money in New York.
Right.
No money at all. But I also learned very quickly the hierarchy of actors in show business because I showed up at the theater one day and the guy running the snack food stand said, you might want to get your brownie today with your employee discount. And I was like, really? Why? He said, because your show is closing. I was like, oh my God, the snack guy knew before me, the concession stand guy.
Yeah.
And that just,
And there was a little bit of snark there.
Oh, there was, absolutely. And I just went like, I remember when I could feel that little part of my soul just crush right there. Like, oh, I know
Live and
now.
learn. Live and learn.
And then, Jackie, I was so broke that I got a job for Arby's. I was dressed as a clown.
Hello.
And I had to hand out flyers on the street corner. And I want to just tell you something. You know people you see with their flyers? And nobody wants your fucking flyers.
Nope.
It is it is the worst job in the world. So I always tell people, take their flyers. I take the flyer. I take the flyers.
I still do some flyering, by the way. I do some flyering out after shows sometimes. But I always say, have you been flyered enough?
Yeah.
I'm offering an ad for my website and podcast. And then I say that 200 times. Because you know what I was raised to do? Cold calls. Yeah.
I had a job cold calling. I actually had a job. I got a job when I moved out to California and I knew nobody.
Right.
And I got a job doing cold calls.
Right.
And it was like in like the back of, it was like a back room behind a restaurant. And it was just I don't even know how I got this job. I met someone at an audition, right?
Right.
And this guy hired me and it was about 10 of us who like want to be actors. We're all sitting there at these, it was like school desks, like elementary school desks. And there were phones and they were like real phones. You had to go, and phone books.
Yeah.
And everyone was smoking.
Right.
I smoked, but I had to smoke there, right? And coffee. And you had to cold call 7-Elevens up and down the California coast. We were selling off-brand Spuds MacKenzie memorabilia. They weren't real Spuds MacKenzie memorabilia, but they were Spuds MacKenzie memorabilia. And I would have to call them. See, this was after the Spuds MacKenzie beer campaign was already over, and these manufacturers had made all these Spuds MacKenzie doll, and they were Spuds MacKenzie beer can openers. They were like beer coasters. Okay, and I had to say like, "Hey, this is Cheryl," because you have a fake name.
Always got to have
a fake name.
Always
right?
have a fake name.
Your slave name. Oh, I can't really say that because 12 years. I don't want to sound like that.
Anyway, right, because they name slaves differently. In cold call, there's two names for men and there's two names for women.
Oh, really? What are they?
It's usually like Steve and Jim or whatever, and then Cheryl and Marianne or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
it's because when the sales rep goes there, he's like, "Oh, did you talk to Steve or Marianne?"
You know, God, no one ever even told me that.
Oh, that was explained on my pappy's knee. I was just making
it up because I was just so sad.
Yeah.
Hey, do you like that Spuds MacKenzie? Everybody loves that dog. Wouldn't you like Spuds MacKenzie keychains? And we've got a Spuds MacKenzie ice cold, and you won't believe how cute it is. Girls just love that dog. I'm just saying, where are you? Are you in San Luis Obispo? How is it down there? Oh, it's north of LA. Oh, I'm new to California. I would just give these speeches.
Right.
Okay.
How did it work?
Okay, I worked there for a week.
1 week.
Every single order that I sold was returned. Every single one was rescinded. I think about that job. I mean, I don't know which was worse. At least with the flyers, what I did was I would go around the corner from Arby's and throw the flyers in the garbage can and then just sit in an alleyway and cry.
Yeah.
I couldn't sit and cry.
Here's the thing, you can't.
Cold calling.
But in a clown outfit.
In a clown outfit.
You were crying?
Crying.
Sad clown?
And the thing was, this was the summer after I had gone to a semester in London after I was studying pot smoking and massage. And my parents went bankrupt. And I had no money. They had no money.
Right.
And so that's when I started this job. And while I was in England, not seeing the bankruptcy coming, I was reading Tess of the D'Urbervilles, and I hadn't finished it yet. So I was not only a clown crying, I was a crying clown crying into my copy of Thomas Hardy and the days of Tess of the D'Urbervilles. It was just,
wow. Where did you live in? How long were you in London? Were you in England?
For a summer.
For one summer?
And
did you go to school, like the London School of Economics? What did you do? Was it theater?
Do I look like someone who studied at the London School of Economics?
You didn't promise not to go into economics.
No. I was actually studying art and architecture.
Right.
And English.
In
a
English.
couple classes at University College in London.
And where did you live in London?
I lived off of Euston Square, which was in this little guest house. Oh God, I was ancient, but I was wasn't. It's just they're very antediluvian in England. There was a heater in the little room that I had that you had to put coins in.
Oh, right.
Oh, it sounds like I was like in the olden days.
But that was a rental. It was a rental, right? So you had to pay for the heat.
Okay, I wanted to say I'm not ancient, people, but in England they had these things. It was called
you made an effort.
Called a bedsit.
Compliments, indignities, and survival stories. I lived in London for 3 months myself.
What were you doing there?
I was at Bunac. The British University exchange thing where I had a work permit.
You did.
And I was the dumbest 3 months of my life. I lived in a youth hostel where I worked from 6 a.m. to 9, making breakfast, continental breakfast, and cleaning rooms until 9. And I did that for my housing. From 6 a.m. to 9.
Wow, what did you make for breakfast? It
was always just scones, and and I didn't have to make the scones. And then there'd be toast, and then there was jelly, and there was butter, and then it was tea.
I was there when Charles and Diana got married.
I saw
that summer.
I saw Charles and Diana go to Roger Rabbit because my day job was at the Odeon West End in Leicester Square.
I went down to see their carriage pass.
Oh, did you?
And I stood
there.
In
the parade?
I was in the parade.
You saw the parade.
I was parade adjacent. And I was parade adjacent. And the guy in front of me was a very British type gentleman. He actually fell, knocked a tooth out because there was a little bit of pushing and shoving, but he said, it was worth it. They waved at me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That feels like, okay, no, I'm just going to let him have that moment.
Let him have that moment. Yeah.
That seems good. Let's talk briefly about your favorite science fiction television shows.
Oh, okay.
Is there anything currently happening?
Okay. First of all, I was a girl who made her own Star Trek uniform.
Oh my God.
Okay. I played
what
Star
color?
Trek. Everything in the 70s was nylon. So I think I had some kind of nylon span.
But did you go, was it command? Was it security? Was it science officer?
No,
was it gold or was it blue or was it red?
Well, I wasn't that creative. I made a little pin, like a V pin.
You made the logo.
I made the logo on a nylon shirt.
On a nylon shirt so that you could play Star Trek.
Yes.
Right.
And then my cousins and I, what we would do is we would talk into our transponders, right?
Right.
And we would, and then we would run from, this is when we lived in Delaware at that time, and we'd run from rock to rock and hide behind the rocks, because you know how Kirk was always fighting on planets with big rocks. There were always boulders because they were shooting it in California.
Right. There was always a boulder.
And there was always a boulder. Oh my God, he's wearing a Tron shirt.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Sci-fi.
Andy Ashcraft, welcome to the program.
Movie. Okay,
just say hello to the people.
Hello,
people.
The thing that I got obsessed with in the last couple of years
playing through
is the show Fringe on Fox.
Oh, there you go. I'm on second season.
I
need to.
The alternate universe. I just love the idea.
Oh, do you love it
alternate universe? I love that idea. But that when people crossed over, it disrupted the something.
That makes sense to me.
It makes sense. And then
why wouldn't
now there's an entropy and the universes are closing in on each other. I use the word entropy in a sentence.
Nice work.
And then people are stuck in the amber, which is, it's just, you gotta see it. It is so cool. Fringe was fucking
How about the Doctor
amazing.
Who? Do you ever watch the Doctor Who?
Okay, the Doctor Who is kitschy. I don't watch Doctor. I don't know.
All right.
I can't.
What else do you like? Did you see Firefly? Did you ever see Firefly?
That is not good. Fireflies. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. That's okay. Safe space. You get to not like Firefly.
I did not get into the zombie series that's on
Walking Dead.
No, I don't know why.
No, I'm with you there.
I
just
love
because
28 Days Later. I love a zombie movie. One of my favorite movies.
Shaun of the Dead. But very funny.
Dead. I love when the mother is, trying to pretend to be a zombie, but she's actually not doing anything. How's mom, your zombie? So I'm not even trying. I love that movie.
Did anybody come to the door? Yes, they were a little bitey.
Oh, I know.
It's such a great line.
So good. They're so good.
Such a good line.
But I can't get into The Walking Dead. Why, people?
The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. See,
yeah.
I can't get.
But I wish they were Waking Dead. That sounds like vampires.
You know what? Actually, I also love that show. What is it called? It's Sons of Anarchy.
Okay, that's a Zoom Zoom.
Wait, I just realized that's not a science fiction show. They actually mean it seriously. I'm going to have to rethink that. I thought it was a joke. Oh my God.
Yeah, they might be playing that one straight.
I thought that was
Have you ever seen the Sesame Street parody, Sons of Poetry?
No, I
Very
haven't
adorable.
seen that. But no,
And
why can't I
Homeland.
Okay, Homeland is I really love, but that's bordering on science fiction because it's so not
Because
true
you
at all.
don't want to believe it.
Well,
That's why.
here's the thing why that's science fiction. Because are we to really believe that there are FBI agents who are, she's FBI or no, CIA
Right.
agents.
I think they're
who
FBI 'cause they're
look
home, aren't
like
they?
her. I mean,
because everybody's super foxy?
She's so gorgeous. I'm in love with Quinn, actually. This sharpshooter. He is my favorite killer on TV right now. He's my favorite sniper. But people in the CIA don't look like her.
Let me just tell you something about Los Angeles.
Okay, yes.
Is when you come to Los Angeles, you meet some people that are so good looking
so good
that you
looking.
don't know how to talk to them.
Oh, I know.
It's distracting. I met
It's really
Allison
upsetting.
Brie and two of her amazing lady friends. They have a cover band.
They do?
And I did stand-up comedy before
Allison
them.
Brie is on the show
Community.
right?
And then something else.
And then she's also on Mad Men.
Yep.
Can't she share?
Right, right.
Allison Brie, what is with you, lady?
Let me tell you
Can't
something.
just
I was
share
raised to
with
believe that
others?
those good-looking people were both mean Heathers and
Right.
stupid.
We all believe in
But get
Heathers,
this.
but what? Is she
They
not?
were perfectly nice, and they
No.
were not dumb.
See, the
they were very
problem
smart.
Is like the thing is, if you're like a normal looking person and
Yeah.
you think you're kind of a good looking person,
But then you come here.
to LA and they're just like they're these people that I mean they exist in this other realm and you see
Right.
that. I mean, I once auditioned and this is a little embarrassing because I mean I've met a lot of different people. I've worked
Sure.
with different people, sure, but this is so embarrassing. But I auditioned with John Stamos and I was rendered speechless.
Just because of how pretty he was, just how handsome
He
he
was
was.
so pretty.
It's
He was just
distracting.
so pretty. The bones, the lines,
symmetry.
It was like the symmetry. You know, they call this thing actually. I worked with a cinematographer once who explained this
Yeah.
to me. It's the T, right? So
Yeah.
I was shooting this movie. Actually, one of my favorite movies I was ever in. Bob Odenkirk directed it. It's called Melvin Goes to Dinner.
Okay.
And it stars,
Stamos?
Stephanie Courtney.
Oh, okay.
And Bob is in it.
Flo the
and,
Progressive Lady,
Flo the
Steph.
Progressive Lady. Jack Black is in it. It's David Cross. It's
Super fun.
It's really fun. It's really great. Jason Nash is not in that. Matt Price is in it. Fun people. Anyway, okay. So, Maura Tierney is in the movie and she was on, what is it, ER? I forget. She's a serious actress. She's really fantastic, right? So I was saying to the cinematographer, what is it about her face?
Right.
And he said, well, you see what it is that she looks good from every angle because she's got this really strong T. Now you don't have that, which is why we have to light
Out loud?
you.
That's an
We have
inside-
to light you very carefully. But and he's explaining, I'm like, oh my God, he's just explained it to me.
Yeah.
The whole thing, it's this T thing. And John Stamos, he had this, it's right, like you can look in the face, it's like this
Like
symmetry.
it's across the nose
They look
and
the same
down the
from
middle?
every angle, like it just
Okay.
all works. Like I've got these like, folds and places. It's sort of like nooks and crannies in the face.
It's character.
It's
beautiful.
Character.
A little bit of character.
A little bit of character.
It's nice.
But people, they just flock to LA and you see them and sometimes you can't speak. I
Right.
could not speak
hard to
the
talk.
face. And also I grew up watching him on TV and that can be weird too.
Right.
be weird,
Right.
too.
It is a little weird. So you love Fringe.
Yes, I love
And
Fringe.
what are your favorite, besides, of course, Soylent Green, District 9, and Logan's Run? What are your favorite science fiction films?
Well,
Do you watch any of the Star Trek movies?
I'm going to admit this. I actually do. I go to
I love them.
the Star Trek movies the day they open. I love all them. My favorite new thing is I love any movie. Okay, even that movie, I believe it's actually still going on, Gattaca, that went on forever.
Gattaca. When everybody goes, my favorite thing in Gattaca is whenever the brothers are getting a fight, one of them go get your swim trunks. Let's do this.
Right.
It was
crazy, right?
The swimming.
Uma Thurman, Ethan Hawke. I just saw the one with Scarlett Johansson, and that one. In that one,
What movie is that?
I don't even know the name of this movie.
Avengers?
No. This is the one where they are actually clones that are living underground, and they are
Sweet.
and their body parts, they're being
Harvested or
it's called The Island. The body parts are being harvested, so they're growing them. They have patrons in the outside futuristic world who have paid $5 million to have their clone, so that when because they know they're ill and or they're getting older and they need these body parts. And I just love that shit. It just makes me make
You
my
should
brain
read
happy. I
Lois
love it.
McMaster Bujold has a great series, the Vorkosigan series, Miles Vorkosigan. And there's the greatest thing about cloning in it, because one of the, it talks about the cloning industry, because people will have a clone made,
Right.
so that they can transplant their brain into the new body.
That movie, that Scar, the Island, kind of, you have to suspend your disbelief though, because you have to believe that they're only keeping this clone of Scarlett Johansson alive because they need her kidneys. I mean, look at her. I mean, come on.
Why wouldn't you
crazy.
just start over?
Just kill that. Just get the new one. I mean, it's just, or why not have two of them? If people could have two of them. I love the movie Her. People were disturbed by it.
Right.
I mean, it's supposed to be disturbing, but
Success. Congratulations.
Yes. It worked, people.
Well played.
I feel like that's my brain. The funny thing is, there's I think a cliche that it's like young boys, like teenage boys. I grew up skipping school so I could read my Isaac Asimov all day.
Right.
I was that person.
All right.
And then I got really into cyberpunk. I mean, I got really into
Blade
William
Runner
Gibson.
and Philip Dick.
Philip K. Dick. I just was
What's your favorite Philip K. Dick book?
Okay. My favorite Philip K. Dick is it's the Palmer Eldritch one, the one where, it's a triptych of Palmer Eldritch. That's the one where Philip K. Dick actually predicts the internet in that movie, which is so fantastic. I mean, in that book. Right. I have to just tell you this. In that book, he talks about this population on Earth, this underclass, which has moved to Mars, and they work in the mines, and their lives are so terrible.
Right.
They all take this drug, which is called Chu-Z, right?
Yep.
And then they take it, and they are instantly in their brain transported to this like a Sims-like world where they have alternative identities, and they all live out their like fantasy lives, and this is how they cope with their real lives. Hello, people.
Right.
This is exactly the internet, and this is the world we live in. People have dull, boring lives. They have avatars on the internet, and they go on that to escape their life. I mean, he predicted the future accurately. Whatever drugs he was on, we should
I think he predicted his own trip, because it was, there was another guy who did predict, not the Cryptocomic-Con guy. I can't remember the name of the author. Someone's yelling the name of the book that, predicted the internet.
Right.
And,
someone's Googling it right now.
No, they know it. It's in Todd Mason's head. We know that Ross Whitman knows this.
Philip K. Dick also
there are Rangers of the Dork, but Philip K. Dick. I've tried to read Philip K. Dick so many times.
I'll read that one.
It's I'll give it a shot, because the thing is I've tried to read several of his books, and he's such a mess of a guy that whenever I try to read it, it's so convoluted, and it's usually not linear enough for me.
That's so funny, because I never noticed that.
Yeah.
I'm obviously as insane as that. Okay, one of the other great things about that particular book is that he predicts, again, that the Earth has gotten so much hotter,
right,
that people are going to these, what they're called, like this de-evolutionary clinics, and they're having hard shells put on their back to protect them
from the sun.
From the sun. And that's become the new fashionable thing, which makes a lot more sense than doing what I did a few weeks ago, which is to get a photofacial, which takes away the spots that you're going to get, the sunspots you're going to get again anyway. I mean, it's not. Here's my favorite thing.
You look great, by the way.
You look great. Thank you.
All right.
But it doesn't. It doesn't last. But
there's nothing to be done.
There's nothing.
The
to be
aging
done.
process is inexorable.
You just have to give into it. Here's the thing. I mean, I don't know if this is too much of like a girly talk for people in the dork force.
But the thing is people love. I don't ever get enough
here's
girly talk.
Here's a little bit of girly talk.
All right.
Here's the ridiculous thing about when you do anything, like you go and like you get a facial or you get a little Botox, which I have.
All right.
Sure. I don't even know what they're injecting. It might not even be Botox. It could be like Lysol. I don't. You don't ask.
I really hope it isn't like. Yeah, I suppose you don't know.
You're in the chair. They've got a needle. It looks like a doctor's office. Mm-hmm. They're kind of doctor-ish, but not really.
They've bought the uniforms. They got scrubs.
They're in Beverly Hills, for God's sake. But here's the thing: what they usually say to you. They say, "Okay, results may vary." Okay, results may vary. So you're saying that what I've just paid $1,200 for may or may not work.
I was going to ask if it was okay to
and
ask.
They'll say, that's right. It really depends on you, and we can't really predict that. And they say also, the results vary if you use these products. So if you use these products
in addition to the $1,200
you spend, that will help it work. So I say, now why did I do this why did I have this injected if I need the products? Are you saying it won't work if I don't do both? Well, we really can't say because the results vary. It always goes back to that. Then they will also say to you that, and also you have to remember that as time goes on, you're also aging. So that's why we can't predict what's going to happen with what we just put in your face because you're also aging. I mean, there's like every disclaimer and yet people do it.
And then they cash your check.
And then they cash your check. It is just ridiculous.
Wow. It's so much effort. I was wondering about it because I don't,
it's what they call a zero-sum game.
Right.
There's just
there's no win. Mm-hmm. There's no win on that. It'll be fine. I'm just aging.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Well, I've done a little bit of this. Well, I've tried these things. Like you put a little.
I get the waxing. I get someone to take the mustache off.
The waxing.
Of the eyebrows and mustache.
Okay, I did a little filler once in my cheeks and I looked like a squirrel for a few months. A squirrel.
You're like, undo.
Yeah, no, that was not good. That was like a mistake. But you just sort of feel like you should do something because you live in LA.
Right.
And you see other people and their faces
and they
shiny.
look better. And you're like, are you aging too? I wonder if you've had any work. And then you're like,
just really.
But it seems like
it's very tempting. It's very
but you know
seductive.
What? Results may vary.
So
that's what's the terrifying part is that what if you get like I've met a bunch of people like Dana Gould does a joke about how all women who get plastic surgery end up looking like Janice from the Muppets.
They do, but all women who don't get plastic surgery end up looking like a crocodile handbag. I mean, like eventually, see, you look, this is one thing that's sort of strange. There's a sameness to everyone who gets plastic surgery. Yeah. But there's a sameness that age gives you. Right. It's a really weird and depressing thing. I feel like people listening to this are just going to be like, and now I have to kill myself.
Right. And you're just, they might be going, you should just age because you're beautiful the way you are inside. Don't you meditate? I thought you meditate.
I do meditate.
How is that treating you?
Let me just say, I am the worst meditator in the entire world. I have had exactly one profound thought in the 2 years I meditated. You know what that thought is?
What?
I realized that I bought a house that's much closer to the freeway than I thought.
Finally, the huge reveal that you had been working for.
15 years of living in the same house has taught me one thing. I was like, oh my God, I never realized I can hear the freeway from my bedroom.
But doesn't it sound like the ocean?
No, it sounds like the ocean. If the ocean is honking all the time, it does not sound like the ocean. That's just the bullshit they tell you when you move to California. The freeway, you won't hear it. It sounds like the ocean. It does not.
We live in a helicopter.
And results may vary.
We live in a helicopter testing area.
Oh my, let me just say.
A lot of helicopters.
Do you know what? I feel like I should just introduce myself all the time now. Hi, I'm Annabelle Gurwitch. Results may vary. Because
I like that.
That's
the thing is everybody
my new
they should get all of your books because you're fucking hilarious. And so regular commentator on NPR.
I was. And I'm not anymore.
Not at this time. But are you a sporadic commentator on NPR?
No, I'm not even sporadic. Sporadically, they have me on and I talk. Yes, okay.
Okay, there you go.
But
you wish to be regular once again, and but it'll be fine.
You cannot say I wish to be regular once again.
Right? Not at this day and age.
Here's what you can do.
How about the Nation?
You know what? If you go to my website, if you
which is AnnabelleGurwitch.com,
or you go to me on the Twitter, which is my name spelled wrong, but if you put my name in, it'll get you there. I write for a lot of different magazines right now. I'm writing for Marie Claire and Bazaar
with 2 A's.
And I write for a lot of, you'll see. But
Fired, Tales of Canned, Canceled, Downsized, and Dismissed. You can get that. You can say you say tomato, I say shut up.
Really get the new book that I See You
which
Made
is coming out March 6th. I See You Made an Effort.
6th, and I'm going to be actually traveling all over the country
and signing them and talking it up
and signing them and talking it up. And it's like I'm getting in a van. It's like I'm an indie band.
Right. Are you going to go to Portland? Will you go to Powell's?
I'm going to Portland. I'm going to Powell's. Let me just say, I mean, I really do love Portland. The khaki
Powell's
aside,
is the best. Yeah.
Powell's, like when you go there, first of all, it's like you feel like, civilization again. It's sort of like the underground chamber in Planet of the Apes. It's like the hallowed ground. Like when you go to Powell's, they have books.
It's so organized.
They have these books.
It's my favorite
books
thing.
Under glass. And you just feel like these people love books.
Yeah.
And you just feel like it's okay to be a writer. And you think, it doesn't matter how
you going to
I'm
City of
pay
Lights?
my mortgage.
City of Lights in San Francisco?
No, in City... I don't think they exist anymore.
Oh, their lights exist.
Do they? I'm going to Book
walked by
Passage in San Francisco.
Oh, Book Passage, awesome.
I'm going to
the Strand.
I
don't like the Strand.
I'm not going to the Strand, but I have a couple events in New York.
I do not enjoy the Strand.
I'm going to
too
Books.
big.
I love the Strand. I love Books and Books in Miami. One of the best indie stores
in Miami.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In the country, it is. Books and Books is fantastic.
You grew up in Florida.
Yeah. Actually, I tried to date the guy who owns Books and Books in Florida. He wouldn't go out with me, so I dated his younger brother, who I didn't
settling.
But I just wanted to get closer to Mitch.
To Books and Books.
I dated, I think his name was Robert.
I've been there.
It's terrible to say that.
Yeah.
Robert was not Mitch. I mean, I'm sure he's great. He's
No, Robert's a really nice guy.
Now, I'm sure
I slept with a guy named Matt because I wanted to sleep with Doug Stanhope.
I slept with a guy named Mitch because I wanted to sleep with his best friend.
Right. I believe Matt and Doug were best friends as well. You know what we were doing? Settling.
It worked in that one case.
In that moment.
In that one case.
In that moment, it actually achieved everything I wanted to achieve.
But it's really silly. It's
and
like,
sad and wrong.
It's not a good plan.
Well, it doesn't, I didn't feel great about it. But my favorite thing was Doug was at the Improv one time and he yelled across the way. He said, "Did you ever sleep with Matt?" And I yelled back, "Yeah."
Across there?
And he goes, "Oh, Matt would never tell me. He's a gentleman, you know." And I said, "I am not a gentleman. I am so sorry."
And that was on stage.
No, that was across the bar in the old Improv, Hollywood
I wish
Improv.
It was on stage. Can we say that was on stage?
Well, it's certainly on this podcast now.
Yeah, but I mean, let's just say it was. You were in the middle of a set, and he yelled out, "Did you ever sleep with Matt?"
Yeah,
and you said yes. I mean,
and I said yes.
Say that.
Let's bring it. Let's bring it up a notch. Annabelle Gurwitch, you are a delight. It has been an hour. Aww. I thank you so much for wanting to do the show.
Will you tell me that I'm wearing a leaf and not an angel wing?
You know what you are? You're wearing a bird wing. Bird wing. You're a birder.
I'm a birder. If you see me in khaki, I just want to say, please stop me. Please
and just
stop me.
Tiny intervention. Just politely
say.
If you see
me and Eileen Fisher, stop me.
Don't. Eileen, you're building a wardrobe.
Just wrap me in a duvet cover.
You've done vital work. Thank you, Rangers. Take care out there. Bye. All right. That was great. Thanks so much for listening to the show, you guys. The bonus content, which is Andy and I discussing the show, is available on the apps, the Libsyn sold apps. For some reason, Libsyn is also just posting it for free, so you don't have to buy the app. You can just go to tdf.libsyn.com if you're just downloading it to your iTunes and putting it on some other app to listen to all of the different podcasts that you listen to. So if you want to listen to the bonus content, just go to tdf.libsyn.com, or you can buy the app if you want. And you can also just go to iTunes, by the way, and review the show. iTunes supposedly cares about that. So if you're enjoying the show, and I read them, and that's great. And if you ever want to email me, Jackie@JackieCation.com. The credits, of course. Patrick Brady's going to fix this audio. Thank you, Patrick. Mike Rickberg composed and sang the intro song. He's going to sing the Mexican hat dance right here in a moment. And Vilmos fixes the website, JackieCation.com, where, by the way, there is a donation button, JackieCation.com and DorkForest.com. Feel free to donate. I'd love everyone to give me $100 a year. That is $8.33 a month. I have not figured out a way to make that easy for you. You would have to remember that, or you can just throw me some money. If you don't have any money, that's fine as well. But feel free to talk up the show. And if you would like merch, if you'd like a Dork Forest t-shirt or a CD of my stand-up comedy, or would like to know where I'm doing stand-up, go to JackieCation.com and hook yourself up. There's also an Amazon banner if you ever order from Amazon, and we all do. Go through JackieCation.com and the Amazon banner. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. See you next week.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat, my hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?